Do you want to fly the sporty jets of the corporate world or the heavy metal of the airlines? That's what we're talking about in this video. Coming up. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Luke and I'm a 15-year-old student pilot. On this channel, we discuss all things aviation and document my journey as a pilot. In the short time that I've been involved in aviation, I've had the opportunity to meet and be mentored by some great pilots from both the corporate and airline side of flying. This video is just me compiling all that information that I've learned and giving it to you, the future pilot, to help you in your decision on whether or not you would be interested in corporate or airline flying. I'm going to break this video down into 4 categories: schedule, pay, lifestyle, and benefits. And then we'll do a brief overview of all the information that we covered. If you're looking to go down the charter side of the corporate world and fly for one of the big Part 135 operators like NetJets or FlexJet or Wheels Up, then your schedule will most likely be a 7 on, 7 off or 8 on, 6 off type schedule. Don't quote me on that though, because each schedule is different at each company and each company has multiple schedules. If you want specifics on one company, make sure to check out airlinepilotcentral.com. I'll put a link to it in the description. There you can get all the information that a pilot can ask for about a company. If you want to fly for Part 91 operator, a lot of pilots will tell you that you're bound to get calls at midnight and be away from home and have an awful schedule. I'm here to tell you that that isn't always the case. I know of plenty of pilots who fly for Part 91 operators that know their schedule a month to a month and a half out and only really get an unexpected trip once to twice a month. The biggest difference between corporate schedules and airline schedules is the length of trips. Typically, if you're an airline pilot, your trip is only going to be a maximum of about 4 days. Now that may differ at different airlines. That's just a general rule of thumb. I'm going to put an example of an airline pilot schedule right here. And then I'll also put an example of a corporate schedule right here. Putting those schedules doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to happen if you go to this airline or that corporate company. It's just to get a rough idea. Now onto the topic of pay. If you're in this for the money, then the airlines are probably going to be for you. Depending on what level of airline you're at, you can earn a lot of money for a pilot. If you get to a legacy and you become a captain, you're rolling in a pretty good paycheck. In the corporate side of things, you typically aren't going to make as much money, and it's going to take you a little bit more to gain seniority at a company if you're flying for a 135 operation, or it's going to take you a while to just increase your pay at a 91 operation, or however they work their pilot pay. On to the next topic, which is lifestyle. This is probably the biggest one for me, and I'm sure it's a big one for you guys too. The lifestyle of an airline pilot and corporate pilot are totally different. The life of an airline pilot, in my opinion, and this is all just for me, is you're going to be going into the same big airports a lot. You're going to be dealing with the general public, and of course there's going to be people who have money or flying in those big first class seats if you're a legacy pilot. But generally speaking, you're in and out through terminals all day. In the corporate side, instead of terminals, you're in and out of FBOs all day, which you ask me, I'd much rather be in and out of FBOs all day than terminals, simply because there's no security and you're just around in the environment of successful people. Also in the corporate world, the destinations are going to be much more exotic, much more remote. You're going to get to go into awesome places. And I'm not saying that you don't get to go into great places as an airline pilot, but typically those corporate pilots get to go into cool places like Telluride and Aspen, and I know some airlines go into there too. But it is all what you want. Change is the normal in corporate aviation. You're not going to know where you're going. You know that you're working on these days, but you don't know your destinations until the week up. Your schedule may change 3 times in a 7-day trip, and that is the nature of corporate. Of course, this is compared to the airline side of things, where you're going to know the exact airport that you're going to for the next month and a half. Now on to benefits. This is a pretty easy topic for me. Basically, the biggest difference is as an airline pilot, you're gonna have flight benefits. And those are amazing. Take advantage of those. That is great. To be able to get on a plane and go anywhere in the world anytime you want is an absolutely amazing thing to have. But it's all pros and cons. And that's what I highly recommend for all of you to do who are undecided on whether or not you want to go down the corporate or airline path. Make a list, pen and paper, and say all the pros of each one and all the cons of each one. Weigh them out, see which ones mean more to you, and use that to make your decision on whether or not you want to go down the corporate or airline path. Let's do a quick overview of everything that we talked about in this video to see if you are more likely to enjoy going down the airline or corporate path. If you seek spontaneous adventure and find excitement in not knowing where you're going to be on a week-to-week basis, enjoy having a different type of responsibility, being responsible for everything in your airplane, not just flying, avoid terminals and be in and out of FBOs all day, and enjoy being part of a team, then corporate aviation may be for you. If a predictable job, a flexible schedule, flight benefits, and big airplanes sound appealing to you, then the airline industry is probably going to be the right option. Having a predictable job means that you're going to know your schedule much further out, and having a flexible schedule means you'll be able to bid days off to make it home for those important events and things that mean a lot to you. Having flight benefits and being able to travel the world at an extremely low cost and flying the big airlines that the airline industry has, those are all great pros of the airline industry, and if that's what's important to you, then the airlines is the right path. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got something from it, let me know in the comments, and if you want to make a comment just about anything, we could have a great conversation down below. I want you to stay current, stay proficient, keep the blue side up. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.